Girlfriend threw a fit over late pizza, packed my bags, and now questions our relationship because I walked away for space. I live with my girlfriend. Every Friday is pizza night. We either order some Domino's or I pick up Papa Murphy's. She loves pizza night because during the week we are pretty strict with our diet and exercise, so Friday nights are pop/pizza/movie and it's a treat. I get off of work at 5, she gets off at 6, so if I'm picking up the pizza then I get it on the way home. Yesterday it was my duty to pick up the pizza. I stayed after work for another 40 minutes talking to my brother about business ideas because we own our business and it's really helpful to brainstorm after we close. I work 25 minutes from the house, she works 20 minutes from the house. I ordered the pizza from Papa Murphy's. You have to bake it yourself at home for 15 minutes, at 5, and plan to leave work at 5:40 with the intent on getting the pizza and being home in time to throw it in the oven and have it be done within 5 to 10 minutes after she walked in the door. Well, I get the pizza, and there is a traffic accident on the freeway. It delays me 15 minutes. When I get home, which is about 2 minutes after she did, she is all, "I'm really disappointed that you didn't get the pizza here faster, you know how important it is," etc. I explained to her that there was a traffic accident and that I plan to be here in time to have it done. She then goes on a rant saying I should have left right at 5 so that I would for sure get the pizza here in time and have it ready for her when she got home. Keep in mind, I've brought this pizza back basically every week for the past month, and I either have it totally ready, or at least in the oven by the time she gets home. Somehow though, the times when it was just in the oven were me being late then too, and she brought that up as more evidence that I'm terrible. Anyway, I go into the bedroom to be alone so that I don't have to hear her ranting. She won't drop it though and comes in there after 5 minutes to continue bitching about her pizza and how I shouldn't be upset because she's the one that was disappointed. I tell her fine, I'm leaving for a while because I don't want to sit here and hear this after I just sat in traffic for 40 minutes getting this thing for her. She then flips out and tells me I shouldn't come back if I'm leaving, chases me out the door and screams for me to pack my things and take them with me before I go, etc. I ignore this and tell her she is acting like a child and that it's like watching a 2-year-old have a tantrum. I come back 3 hours later and she has a suitcase and a bag of clothes thrown out in the driveway. No texts or calls, just that. I slept at my office and now I'm not really sure what to do here. Am I missing something here where I wasn't being sensitive? Do I just wait for an apology, and then if it isn't forthcoming, I should walk? It seems like insanity to me, but maybe I'm missing something? Edit. So I finally texted her this afternoon, and she said she was pissed because I ignored her / was acting cold after she bitched at me when I went into the bedroom to defuse the situation. I was there for under 5 minutes before she came in to continue fighting about it. When I left, she says, I told you that if you left you could never come back. You still left. Now she says it's up to me if I want to still be together. I told her that me being required to be in her presence while she rants at me is abuse. I can leave if I want to. In fact, the week prior she specifically told me I should leave for a little while when she starts acting crazy because she ends up saying things she doesn't mean. So I literally followed her advice this time, and now she says I'm basically required to stay at her side while she rages at me. I feel like it's time to move on because I know she won't get help for this and I know it's just going to keep happening. It's just so hard because I do still love her and if she would just be willing to get help, I would have hope. Update 1. After some more texting, she admitted that she owed me an apology and asked me to come back and talk. As soon as I walked in, she had a sheepish look and apologized and said she knows something is wrong with her but she isn't sure what it is, and really doesn't want to have to take medication. That's when I brought up the fact that we both already knew her sister has a very severe case of borderline personality disorder. Her sister is very intelligent, yet often homeless, has been married 5+ times at 35 years old, thinks no one loves her and everyone persecutes her for her political views, etc. I never thought my GF had this disorder though because her sister was so severe in comparison that I never really stopped and paid attention to a lot of the things that she does do that still hit a lot of the major criteria. Major fears of abandonment, from childhood, stormy relationships with men, few friends, viewing me as perfect when she's happy and terrible when she's upset, extreme sensitivity to criticism, past issues with bulimia, crazy/paranoid, unfounded, no evidence, thoughts about what I think of her when she is upset, and a cycle of shame/guilt about the things she does to avoid emotional pain and dealing with the consequences of her actions. Anyway, she was curious enough about it to go and look this up on the computer, take a basic psych test to see if it's possible. She scored in the likely score range even with some answers that I thought were denying reality. I kept quiet while she took it though, that would have scored her higher. After that, she looked into what treatment was available. I know she absolutely does not like the idea of counseling, so I suggested books and she agreed to at least start with that. So I feel like this is a positive step forward, where I was feeling hopeless before. She realizes she has a problem, and now I'm just anxious about whether she will take the book seriously and really work on understanding why she acts this way sometimes. 95% of the time I'm with her is wonderful and she is amazing, but this 5% of when she cannot handle stress or minor issues and they turn into huge blow-ups is very difficult. One of her suggestions on what would make her feel better when she does this is if I pretended to be concerned even if it is a trivial issue. She said it doesn't even matter if I have to grit my teeth and lie to her, it will make her feel better than when I walk away. I don't think she realized it when she said it, but we do the same thing to her sister when her sister is saying crazy stuff too. Overall, I'm much more hopeful now, but at the same time realistic that she has thus far not really done anything to help herself, and reading books could help, but not in the same way a counselor could, I think. I'm hoping that if she reads these books and realizes a lot of it rings true with her, maybe she will be more open to counseling. Quick edit: I know a lot of you said it wasn't about the pizza. In a way you were right, in a way not. She was much more upset by the fact that I wanted to go in my room rather than stay and listen to her ranting about that. Someone with BPD is apparently much more short-fused when you are not giving them attention when they need it, so a minor issue about pizza turns into crazed you don't care about me ramblings. It really was as simple as the pizza being late, and my avoidance reaction set off her insanity. Update 2. Well, I just couldn't make it work with her anymore. I didn't want to talk about it in the original post, but she had cheated on me multiple times already, and I caught her doing more stuff. She told me she was just seeing her ex once in a while as a friend, but I caught texts she had sent him where he was mad that she wasn't getting sexual with him enough, and that she only saw him once every couple of weeks, so she must be seeing another guy, and accusing her of lying about whether she is single or not. She replied to him saying she is single and wasn't looking for other guys, etc. But that she found out he was on a dating site and looking for other girls, so she was mad about that. That, combined with other things that have just always been problems, has led me to the realization that I will never be able to do enough for her to be happy, and that there is no version of reality where I can trust her enough to get married and have kids, or where I can go on a weekend trip and not worry that she's out with another guy while I'm gone. I told her last night that we need some time apart, and she predictably flew into a rage and told me to get the F out and said if I didn't take all of my stuff she would throw it away. I told her if she wanted to be a baby about it and do that, she could, but I wasn't going to pack up the entire house full of my stuff while she is raging at me, so I took my necessities and left. She apologized today and said she wouldn't throw out my stuff, but I'm currently in a motel and looking for an apartment tomorrow. I think my mental state has been warped pretty badly by this relationship and I am looking forward to resetting. I haven't pursued my hobbies or tried to make friends in a long time because every spare moment was spent with her and trying to make sure she didn't feel like I wasn't giving her enough attention. I would get anxious if I was running late coming home from work because I was worried she would be really upset. Most of all, I just felt like I was dealing with someone that doesn't think about things like I do, and doesn't have the sense of morality that I do. I'll never really know if it was BPD because she refused to go to counseling and nothing I could do or say would make her go. I hope someday she is happy, but I fear she is in for a lot of short-term relationships where guys are initially thrilled to be with her, but then when they aren't perfect in some way, that's when the ship will hit the rocks again, and there's no recovery from it because she takes no responsibility for repairing the damage she causes, and only builds up resentment that she isn't treated like a princess regardless of how she treats you. Update 3. Well folks, this past week has been a ride. I moved out and found a new apartment, small place, but it's clean, cheap, and honestly, the best part is that it's mine. No more treading on eggshells after a 10-hour workday. The first night I spent here I just sat on my mattress, delivered by Amazon, courtesy of some assembly required, cracked a beer, and felt actual silence for the first time in ages. But things didn't exactly get simple after moving out. I figured once my stuff was gone that would be the last I'd hear from her. I even half expected her to accidentally lose, destroy, or sell my things before I could pick them up, but to my surprise, when I dropped by the next day she had neatly stacked my boxes in the garage. We exchanged maybe 4 words, keys, thanks, bye, and that was it. Or so I thought. A few nights ago, I got a barrage of texts at 2 a.m., classic huge paragraphs, if you know, you know. The first ones were how could you, then the I miss yous, then maybe we were the crazy ones for thinking love had to be perfect, and finally the I hope you're happy, but here's a playlist to remember me by Spectrum. I ignored them and resolved, for real this time, to let things fade out on their own. The next day was Friday. Pizza night. And just as I'm putting a frozen pizza in my oven, my phone buzzes, and somehow it's her. Not a text, a call. I almost didn't pick up, but curiosity got me, and I did. She said she was outside my old apartment, she'd forgotten I told her I was moving, and wanted to return your old hoodie. I didn't say much besides, I moved, please don't come by again, she said, weirdly calm, okay. Sorry. And hung up. By the end of the weekend, I found a stuffed package crammed into my apartment mailbox. My old hoodie, yes, but also a letter. I admit I read it. She talked about our Friday nights, about how she didn't know how to not self-destruct, how I was the only one that had stuck by her even in her worst moments, and whether she could fix herself. There was a lot in there, regret, nostalgia, her feelings about her sister, even childhood stuff I never knew. She said she'd finally been looking for a local DBT group therapy session. I had suggested DBT way back and it always met resistance, and that she signed up but wasn't sure she'd ever actually go. She also apologized again for the cheating. I'll admit, this was less grandly moving, since she sort of rationalized it as needing connection and not knowing how to cope. But it was more accountability than I ever got before, and then, as if on cue, the next morning she unfollowed me on everything. Blocked and deleted, and just like that, silence. I guess what's really wild is how quickly it all evaporated. After months of drama, it was just gone. The peace is surreal. Over the last few days, I actually reached out to my brother, We grabbed a burger, not a pizza, laughed about old times, and, get this, caught up on those business ideas we put on hold. I even called a couple old friends about going hiking next weekend. But maybe the most interesting twist, I ended up at the laundromat and saw an old coworker I hadn't seen in years. We chatted. She mentioned she'd recently gotten out of a relationship that sounded almost identical to mine, even down to the pizza night tradition, weirdly. There was a lightness to sharing those stories, like battle-weary veterans trading notes. She suggested we go see a bad movie next Friday and said, "I'll take care of the pizza." So that's it, Reddit. Not an explosive finish, but in its own way, a pretty crazy week. I learned a lot, how much your mind and life can warp in the wrong relationship, and how fast you can rediscover yourself once you step outside of it. I don't expect my ex to magically transform, but hearing she's looking for therapy is more than I ever thought I'd get. If I can give anyone advice from all this, never underestimate the value of peace and quiet, and, hey, Friday pizza night, just don't let someone make it a war zone. Update 4. Alright, buckle up, Reddit, because I promised I'd only update if something wild actually happened, and, it did. So let's call this the you literally can't make this up edition. Friday rolls around again. New apartment, new mindset, a little more clarity every day. That afternoon I'm wrapping up at work, actually excited for the evening. Not dreading pizza night, what a concept. Plan, pick up a pizza from the local spot, watch that trashy vampire movie my laundromat friend recommended, call it a win for boring adult basics. Instead, life had plans. Here's where things got weird. Around 5:30, my phone blows up with texts from my ex's sister, A.K.A. the known wild card, who I'd barely spoken to outside awkward holidays. She says it's urgent, can I call her ASAP? I hesitate, because, well, drama, but my gut says something's actually up. Her sister sounds halfway frantic and halfway annoyed. Apparently my ex is missing. Or, more precisely, she vanished from work after texting "I can't take it today" to her sister and another friend, and nobody had heard from her since that morning. The kicker, she'd mentioned me and Friday nights not being the same, then ghosted. So her sister asks, have I seen her, heard from her, anything? I haven't. Last I heard was the letter and hoodie. But I live nearby, and she wants to file a missing persons if there's no clue by late evening. I hang up, but now I'm on edge. I call around, nothing. Then, at around 7:30, the buzzer rings, my buzzer. I open the door half expecting her, but it's the building manager. He hands me an envelope and says, someone left this for you at the desk. No name, just Friday written in big letters. Inside, a single sheet of paper. It's my ex's handwriting, with directions to the old park we used to walk to get pizza when we were still in that new, beautiful phase. There's a line that says, if you want to know I'm okay, come meet me. I wrestled with it, part of me said don't go, the other half worrying she'd do something drastic if nobody showed up. I texted her sister the details. Her reply, please, can you check? I'll wait for you to text. If she's really there, maybe you can talk her down. She listens to you. So yeah, pizza plans abandoned, I drive to the park. It's sunset. I spot her right away, sitting on a swing, staring at the basketball court. She looks as frazzled as you'd expect, but sober, just tired. In her lap is a Papa Murphy's pizza box, totally cold and unopened. For a second, the absurdity distracts me. We talk. It's awkward, no yelling, just a weirdly raw honesty. She tells me she felt herself spiraling all week, wanted to hit pause on the world for a day. That she almost drove back to our old place hoping things would snap back to normal, but knew they wouldn't. She says she needed to actually see the silence, sit with it, instead of running, or raging, or texting. She brings up the therapy group, admits she's scared out of her mind to go, and, honestly this made me laugh, asks, did you know, you have to do homework for DBT? She gives me the pizza box as a sort of peace offering, says Friday should be both our night to start again. I tell her the truth, I honestly hope she does go to group and gets better, but I can't walk that road with her anymore. She nods, a real acceptance this time, not the I'll be better tomorrow sort of moment. We just sat there for another half hour, not talking, just letting it be. When she left, she didn't ask for a ride or to walk me home, simple goodbye. Here's the wildest part, I walked home feeling the strangest mix of relief and, dare I say, pride. I let her know, and her sister, that she was safe, even snapped a photo for proof, which the sister gratefully acknowledged. Saturday morning, I get a text, signed up for DBT. Group starts Monday. I meant what I said. I spent the rest of the weekend with my old work friend, now, honestly, a new good friend, laughing about how almost getting abducted by your own Friday night is the new relationship litmus test. We ate the reheated peace offering pizza and agreed, healing can be weird, sometimes chilly, sometimes perfectly okay. Sometimes closure isn't an epic fight, it's a cold pizza in a quiet park. Sometimes it's being the last anchor for someone and knowing it's time to unmoor. I don't know what comes next for her, but I'm rooting for her, for real, for the first time, from outside the blast radius. For me, I finally found my boring Fridays. Never thought I'd see the day I was grateful for nothing happening. Next Friday's plan? Don't laugh, I'm hosting a few friends for board games and, yep, pizza.
P.S. If you ever get a mysterious delivery labeled only Friday, maybe just let that one go cold.
Update 5. Alright, Reddit, I'm back because apparently my determination to live a peaceful, pizza-filled life is always met with one more plot twist. And, yes, grab your drinks, this is a long one, with apologies in advance to my keyboard. Here's what's happened in the 2 weeks since cold pizza in the park, a segment I never thought I'd have to write. Friday gets here. For once, actual boring adult basics. My friends came by, 3, counting the laundromat coworker, we play codenames, order 2 gigantic pizzas, and everyone has a good time with zero drama. Except, there's a knock at the door, yep, just as we're all zombieing out to a nature dock. It's my building manager again. Small apartment life is a sitcom, I swear, he says, mail for you, marked urgent, hands me a padded envelope with my old keys inside. Not keys to my current place. No, these are the keys to my ex's apartment, which I thought she changed the locks on months ago. Inside, there's a scrap of paper, thank you for being the person who never slammed the door, even when everyone else did. I double check, and, without explanation, she's transferred her lease to someone else, confirmed through mutual acquaintances. She's moved out, no forwarding address, just a message and keys. Her sister texted me that night, she said you'd know what the keys mean. Thank you for helping her get unstuck. DBT is hard, but she went 3 times now, and says you were right about homework being the worst but weirdly rewarding. No more messages. No more letters, pizza, nothing. I put the keys in a drawer, closure, but wonky closure. With actual mental space now, my brother and I doubled down on business. He noticed I was different, calmer, less easily thrown. We brainstormed a new arm for our small company, Friday night kits for offices, pizza gift cards, movie suggestions, and weirdly enough, a stress management pamphlet, yes, inspired by my own circus. We published a tiny blurb on Insta, 3 local offices bought kits the first weekend. The day after, my laundromat friend swung by the office with her idea, a pizza club where a different person hosts a themed night each week. She's got a spreadsheet, and yes, a lemon garlic chicken pizza is on next week's rotation. The sheer normalcy is baffling, and even fun. I'd forgotten what it's like to plan activities where you aren't secretly strategizing around someone else's emotional landmines. Here's the kicker, someone on Reddit, maybe one of you, recognized my story and me. Saw your update, our mutual friend says she started therapy in my group. She's funny, guarded, but giving honest answers. Just so you know. Worlds overlap, small city style. And someone in my pizza club group also read the post and outed me, leading to a running joke that invites to my Friday nights are now the final boss social test for new dates. I assure you, nobody has left pizza in my hallway or park since. Last night, I got a text from an unknown number, just checking in. I think I broke the cycle. You should too. My ex again, I replied, I honestly hope you're doing well, for you. Nothing more. Block the number after. Not from anger, but because the person who needs healing and distance is me, and, shocker, I finally believe it. So, Reddit, I guess this is the actual endnote. My ex is out there, hopefully getting better. Her sister sends updates every so often, but I keep it distant. On my end, I got my hobbies back. My friends back. I even got a new couch, yes, pizza stains already happened, 0 regrets. The Friday night kit side hustle is growing. I've started therapy myself, untangling all the old knots. And to the pizza delivery driver who saw me literally fist bump a Papa Murphy's box last week, it's complicated, man, but I'm finally happy about it. No more mysterious envelopes. No more late night drama, just friends, pizza, and maybe, the best news of all, absolutely nothing unhinged to report for once. Update 6. So for weeks, Friday nights had become what I always envisioned. Different pizza themes, shout out to whoever brought Detroit style last time, new board games, even the mild thrill of debating if pineapple belongs on pizza, actual, blessedly trivial conflict. I was working hard with my brother on our Friday night kit side hustle, getting some steady bites from places I never expected. A dentist's office ordered 12 kits for a team building night, which I still can't picture, but money's money. Then came the company social. My brother and I never really formally hosted one for our business, but he insisted that we need to practice what we preach. We reserved a back patio at the city's most aggressively mediocre pizza spot, think sticky booths, pitchers of bottom-tier beer, and a whiff of nostalgia from Little League days. Our small staff, my laundromat friend, rapidly approaching true best friend territory, a handful of partners, and, surprise, someone brought their cousin visiting from out of state. The cousin, let's call her Sam, ends up next to me for most of the night. She's quick, kind of sarcastic, and admits after a slice or two that she's been reading some insane Reddit story about a guy doomed by pizza night. I freeze. My brother catches my eye, grins, and yells he is the pizza night guy. Sam's jaw hits the table. Turns out, the story is making minor waves in her Discord writing group because half of them think I made the whole thing up. Rude, but fair. The vibe was surprisingly good. For the first time, my own history actually felt like folklore, not a wound. People started comparing life's weirdest food-related meltdowns. One guy's ex who lit a barbecue on fire in a fit of passion, not metaphorical, my laundromat friend's roommate who ghosted her after a calzone snub. In the end, the legend of pizza night broke the ice in a room full of introverts. Things took a bigger turn a few nights later. I got a call from my ex's sister, this time, actually upbeat. "Hey, just letting you know, she's going off-grid for a real break. She says she's not running, she's working through the program, and she's genuinely okay. She told me to tell you, no more pizza as apologies. No more Friday as a trapdoor, thank you." That's the most closure I've ever gotten. The sister said they actually volunteered together at a local co-op that weekend, sorting canned goods, sharing awkward tacos, and, for the first time in years, having a day without incident. She told me my ex still brings up the first Friday she didn't spiral, now seeing it as proof she can rewire the story. She even signed up to direct traffic at a half marathon, which honestly sounds like her worst nightmare, but in a good way. I won't say new drama hasn't tempted fate. 2 weeks after the social, Sam and I started hanging out coincidentally every time she was in town. It's not fireworks or grand declarations, just easy conversation, mutual love for old action movies, and a shared, battle-worn respect for mental health boundaries. She knows the whole story, memes about it, and gently talks me out of overthinking every text. We're not rushing anything. We even took a mutual pizza hiatus for her first visit back, just to prove we could, and it turns out, life exists beyond delivery boxes. I'll be real, I still get restless if I hear an envelope slide under my door, but the old anxiety isn't in control anymore. My brother and I turned pizza night kits into a genuine side business. We donated a handful to a local mental health nonprofit, and the lady who runs DBT at the group home sent me a card, actual paper, not digital, thanking me, the very definition of a circle closing. I've started therapy for myself, not as a reaction but as self-care. I went on my first solo camping trip since all this happened. Woke up freezing, burned my marshmallows, and felt totally content for the first time in years. So, if you see someone frantically checking their locks, sniffing pizza boxes for hidden notes, or awkwardly laughing when you mention Reddit, it's probably me. Or maybe it's just someone making peace with their past in small, cheesy ways. This is the last big update, unless the ghost of pizza night's past comes riding a scooter delivering cursed calzones to my door. But for now, for real, things are boring, and I've never appreciated boring so much. TLDR? No more midnight drama deliveries, no more codependent cycles. X is healing, I'm moving on. The business somehow profits from pizza-fueled trauma, and life's weirdest stories can actually soften into new beginnings. Here's to boring Friday nights. May yours involve only friends, laughter, and pizza that never comes with baggage. Update 7. Alright Reddit, it's been a quiet couple months, almost legendary in its lack of chaos, so I figured the pizza night guy saga really did end there. But apparently, my story isn't done with me yet. This time, bear with me, because what happened is wild, oddly wholesome, and I think worth the write-up. So, Friday, a perfect spring evening in my now broken-in apartment, with my circle of friends, laundromat legend, Sam who became a real person, a few new faces from the pizza club, and my brother's latest business buddy.
We're making gourmet pizzas, i.e., burning a lot of cheese, laughing, and resuming our near-religious debate on rectangular versus round pies.
It starts as every other good night has, low stakes, goofy, and full of garlic. I step out on the balcony for a breather, my phone buzzes, a calendar alert. Friday night kit, volunteer event tomorrow. Turns out, the local mutual aid group we donated kits to threw out an open challenge for businesses to contribute a Friday night, and my brother had signed us up. Honestly, I almost bailed, self-care and all that, but the group's organizer is persistent. I show up the next day with a couple pizza kits, Sam, now a bona fide partner in crime, and my brother, all half awake. The non-profit is in this modest community center, with volunteers stacking supplies and prepping care packages. Right away, the event hums with chatter. Pizza really is the language of people, it seems. Here's where things get crazy. While I'm stacking boxes, a new volunteer comes in, face mostly hidden beneath a dad hat and sunglasses, carrying, wait for it, 2 boxes of Papa Murphy's. My stomach drops. It's my ex. The air goes cold, my mind races, but she clocks me before I can quietly melt down. There's an awkward half smile, the kind you only make after years of hard therapy and unspoken apologies. Sam clocks the vibe. She nudges me, whispers, "You got this." My ex heads to the organizer, introduces herself, and gets busy. Not once does she look my way, not in a cold, avoidant sense, just I've run this play before kind of composure. All day, we move in parallel, filling bags, slicing pizza, even wiping down the kitchen counters, but not much talking. Finally, we end up restocking tomato sauce side by side. She breaks the ice, "I heard you're still running pizza night." That's awesome. There's no edge, no sadness, just acceptance. I tell her, honestly, that I'm glad she's volunteering, and she smirks. Pizza was never the problem. I was just lost. We talk about the loudest, funniest DBT group leader who's changed her life. About her running a comedy night at the co-op, which makes sense, if you knew her at her best. She says her sister's doing okay, too. There's a pause, then she asks if I remember cold pizza in the park. I say yes, and she laughs. I look back at that night and I'm grateful. Without it, I wouldn't have figured out who I can be. We keep working. At the end of cleanup, she puts her hat back on and says genuinely, "Hope your Friday nights keep getting better. You deserve boring." It hits with a finality that's not tragic, just true. For the first time since all this started, all I feel is lightness. When Sam and I walk out, arms full of leftover pizza slices, she squeezes my arm and says, "Well, she's right. Here's to boring." For the official record, that night, we held no pizza night, no party, no big debrief, just sat on my balcony, eating cold slices, watching the city lights, feeling all of it finally settle. Here's the kicker: a week later, someone DMs my business account. "Hey, sorry if this is weird, but your story inspired us. Our Friday support group started a Serenity Pizza night. People come, eat, share their hard stuff, and leave the baggage at the door. It's helped. So, that's the latest. The mess made something. Life isn't just peaceful and boring, sometimes it's rich in a way I never saw coming. Sam and I are figuring things out, slow and honest, with full disclosure and way less fear. My ex is somewhere in the city, making good on her promise to herself. And once in a while, in the right place, you might find a cold pizza bringing people together instead of tearing them apart. To anyone out there stuck in their own Friday night storm, you can get out. You can heal. Pizza's better when it's not a minefield, and sometimes, weirdly, all the pain and drama can spark something better in you, and in someone else, too. TLDR, my ex and I shared one last, quietly redemptive pizza moment in the wild. Now, boring is beautiful, and, weirdest of all, I'm grateful for all of it.